by Mitali Parkins. Neil, a young boy who lives with his parents and sister Rupa in a village near a tiger reserve, sets out to rescue a female tiger cub which has escaped from the reserve. A wealthy newcomer, Mr. Gupta, offers a handsome reward to anyone who finds the cub. But his motives are evil, as he plans to sell the cub for profit. Neil's father, in need of money for Neil's education, aids Gupta's men. As they thundered along the familiar path to the pond, Neil was glad the moonlight made it bright enough to see without the flashlight. But it also meant Gupta's men could spot them any minute. In the moonlight, Neil was able to push through the bushes and find the thin trail that circled the water. When the trail faded into dense foliage, Neil handed Rupa the flashlight.
"I'm going to hunt around a bit,"
he whispered.
"She might be in there. Keep the light on me if you can."
As Neil crawled around the tree trunks and through the bushes, Rupa followed his movements with the flashlight. But there was no sign of the cub. After more fruitless searching, they headed back to the main path. An hour had passed since they had left the house. Deep in a ravine, there was a narrow cave in the big creek's bank. The place was completely out of sight. He doubted anybody else in the village knew it was there. The creek was so big, it was almost a river. He risked a sweep of the bank with the flashlight. "Footprints!" Rupa hissed, pointing.
"These were made after the last high tide."
Neil said, wondering if any belonged to Baba.
"They're still fresh."
The strip of mud between the water and the bank narrowed. He put down the Sundari stick and mentioned to Rupa to join him. She set the pail of milk down carefully. "I don't see how the cub could hide anywhere around here."
"There's a perfect hiding spot in here, unless it got washed away."
The entrance to a long, low open space that twisted through the foliage and led deep into the bank. "We have to crawl in there?" Rupa asked.
"I'll go first."
Neil hoisted himself into the open space. Rupa climbed up behind him.
"Look,"
he called suddenly, aiming the light at a patch of soil just in front of him. He leaned aside so Rupa could see. It was a tiny pug mark, and then another. Carefully, Neil inched forward. He gasped. White and black and orange gold fur. Glowing round eyes rimmed with black. She was there. They gazed at the beautiful creature for a long minute, and then Neil switched off the flashlight. How could they lure her out? Neil tried mewing, but that didn't work. The cub didn't budge.
"We need to bring back some milk,"
he said finally, giving up.
"Let's go."
Once they were back on the bank, Rupa smiled at her brother. Neil's vest was tucked into the waist of Rupa's sari, and she yanked it out. Stooping, she dunked the vest in the pail of milk, soaked it for a minute, and then wrung it out loosely. She wrapped the end of her sari around the milky vest. Then she draped the bundle across her back and hoisted herself into the tunnel again. Rupa managed to tie the milky vest to the end of the stick and then carefully pushed it deeper into the hollow until it was within the cub's reach. Rupa's body was blocking most of his view, but to Neil's amazement, he heard an answering mew and then a soft sucking sound. After a while, Rupa began to pull the stick out of the cave, but as soon as they moved, the sucking sound stopped. It was getting late.
"We've got to get out,"
he told his sister after she had tried for a fourth time and failed again. I don't know what else to do. We'll come back tomorrow. The tide was even higher than he had anticipated. They were going to have to wade through knee-high water to return to the shore. Dripping with salty water and covered with mud, they jogged home as fast as they could.
But Gupta's men must indeed have been searching the other side of the island.
As his sister put away the stick and pail, Neil crawled wearily onto his mat. His last thought was of the cub. He and Rupa had to get the news to the rangers before she was discovered.